Welcome back to Strongman Archives. I'm Edouard Fournier, and today I'm chatting with Sean Hayes, the third strongest man in Canada. How's it going, Sean?
Not so bad. Having a good Friday. How about yourself?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So, listen, how's the quad feeling now? Are you feeling any better?
Quads come back pretty well. I haven't pushed the squats are the one that really wants to dig in there. It's in the VMO, so I'm not bringing those back heavy quite yet. But otherwise, it's dealing quite well.
Yeah, because you suffered quite a few injuries at Canada's Strongest Man a few weeks ago. We have a video of you doing the power stairs, which I'm going to show right now as well. It looks absolutely excruciating. So in the power stairs, you needed to get at least 6 steps in a good time to guarantee yourself a podium spot. What awareness did you have of that as you climbed up the stairs with that weight?
Absolutely none. I would have hit 7 if I could have. She was not there in all them 90 seconds.
Yeah, because you had a quad injury. You also had dropped the farmer's walk on your foot as well.
Yeah, on the same side. Actually, I was the biggest hamper by the end of that day. I think it's quite well known that JF runs a grueling show, and everyone was feeling by the end of that was the end of day 2. I didn't recover well that day. After this was my first real intense 2-day. It was my first pro show. So I didn't recover that well. I ended up putting myself getting kind of sick and not able to eat that entire day. So that my energy level after, first event, second event, being injured as well was kaput.
Yeah, you were quite depleted as well. I think everyone was really tired at the end of it. It was a hot weekend as well, outside, 10 events, just a crazy show.
It was unreal. I would put it up there with pretty much any show going on in the world. For how grueling it is. It was 10 intense events, 5 each day, Saturday and Sunday, outside in the heat. It was rough on everyone. None of the athletes in the back were too chipper by the end of it.
No, for sure. And I mean, Quebec, it's 30 degrees outside, but the humidity just hits you so hard, and it's really hard to breathe, and you're all sweaty all day. So that's really difficult as well.
Especially for us big guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, you finished third in that show. Did it exceed your expectations for Canada's Strongest Man and your first time out?
Like I said, it was my first pro show, so I couldn't really. I even put together a kind of a predictive placing of everyone, and it completely excluded myself. I could have put myself anywhere in there, especially with the caliber of the athletes there. Every one of them, top to bottom, they had 17 athletes, and if the guy who got last got first, it wouldn't have surprised me any bit. They were all high quality, high caliber athletes. Third, I got to say, definitely exceeded my expectations. It was a high level dream to pull off getting onto the podium. So I'm quite happy with that. But I could end up 10th, and I would still be just as happy to talk to you.
But I'll tell you what, JF, he knew it beforehand. He went on the Big Loss podcast and he said, "Oh, watch out for Sean Hayes. He's got some potential." I'm sure that was quite flattering for you.
And many of them are really strong. I think the strongest was last year amateur champion Sean Hayes. Is very strong. Okay, maybe nobody know this guy, but he have 400 kilo deadlift, 180 log minimum. Then he have really good skill. He's good athlete.
It went straight to my Instagram. I told everyone who would hear it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, JF, obviously a bit of a legend here in Canada as well. So I'm sure it was appreciated by you as well, that he knows who you are. He knows your lifts and what you do. What are your best events in Strongman? I mean, you did really well in some of the grip events and the static events as well. What events do you enjoy doing?
I love me some deadlift. I won the deadlift. That was the only event I straight up won at CSM. There was a vehicle deadlift, and it was about 800 and something pounds in the hands, and I ended up winning that with 10 reps. Any form of deadlift. It's just when I started, I had no coach, and I had no one kind of showing me how to do things, and it was the only one that clicked for me right away. God, I still can't squat. And I like it some overhead. My overhead has come a very long way in these last couple of years. I got hooked up with my coach Steve Halliday in 2019, and since then I have a 400 plus pound log, a 400 plus pound axle clean and press. I would have expected in a healthier body to have won the Viking press at CSM. That's another good one. So all the typical fat guy stuff. You can stand still and deadlift, or you can stand still and lift something overhead.
So, I mean, you just touched on that a little bit. You're the beginning of your strongman career. Where did it start for you as a strongman? Is it something that you started doing many years ago? Because we haven't heard that much about you before Canada's Strongest Man. So, tell me a little about your background and where it all started for you.
I started doing powerlifting a while ago, and that's how I kind of got introduced to under CPU, which is IPF here in Canada. I was at the gym, and I actually went to it's a seniors rec center here in town. I went to the trainer. I said, "How do I deadlift?" And he said, "You just kind of bend over and pick it up." After a couple of weeks, I hit a 405, which I'm looking around at the seniors rec center. I thought I was the biggest man in the world, so I went on the went on the Google and seen how that ranks, and it was it was a 405 deadlift. It was half decent. So I got myself into powerlifting to really kind of challenge myself. It wasn't until 2019 when I was kind of dabbling in strongman a little bit before that. We don't have any strongman gyms or infrastructure around here. I actually live out on Vancouver Island. And even now, the only real set of strongman kit is in my one-car garage up in Mid-Island here. So I dabbled in a couple competitions before that, but 2019 was my first real dedicated strongman season, or even went to,
Wow.
That was my first time at provincials even, or amateur provincials here in BC. Ended up, I did pretty good. I just missed out winning that against a guy who was very experienced. Chris Davies here in BC has kind of owned the landscape for many, many years. So losing to him was absolutely fine by me. And then going to nationals my first time that year, amateur nationals, getting fourth place. And then it was a quick up from there, because that was 2019. 2020 we didn't really have a season. I went to amateur nationals and ended up winning it that year. I think that's where JF kind of started taking a look at me, because I think I was up because the guy who got second was one of his training partners, and he knows how Guillaume Tremblay is a giant, strong dude, and to give him a run for his money, I think it speaks for the performance I had that day. And then that's where I got my pro card. This year will be my first pro season, and CSM my first pro show, and doing not bad again. I keep vastly exceeding my expectations year over year.
So, oftentimes we hear guys saying, I started strongman because I saw World's Strongest Man on TV, but not really the case for you. It was more about powerlifting and then slowly dabbling into strongman training and then competing.
That's how it precipitated. I watched all the WSMs growing up. I've always been the big guy, so I wanted to be the big strong guy. It kind of fit. The strongman, going from powerlifting to strongman was just a natural thing for me. It made more sense to me. Powerlifting, it gives me a little bit of anxiety having to be millisecond to millisecond perfect. If your hips come down in a squat just off, it's no bueno. I find strongman, it's highly technical as well, but you can have a little bit of idiot strength and get it done still.
That's right. That's what strongman's all about.
I love it. And it's a true test of strength, because it's different events every time. You can't come in fully prepared for a specific calibrated bar, calibrated plates and everything. And you just got to figure it out and be strong.
That's right. Definitely. And, it's pretty funny because on Instagram, you list yourself as the world's least athletic professional athlete. What's that all about? You don't like the moving events? Is that right?
I'll do them. I've just always embraced my chubby middle.
So did you have an athletic background before powerlifting and strongman, or not really?
Just back in my teenage years, I played hockey. I ended up at just nipping on an international level when I was like 13, and then I had to switch over to football. I was half decent at football, obviously up playing the line there, and but after high school I kind of went away and I went to work.
So after that you began strongman, and then in 2020 we didn't really talk about that yet, but in March of 2020 you went to Columbus to the Arnold Amateur, and you did pretty well there, 12th place. Not too shabby against some big names. Gabriel Pena, Evgeny Markov were there competing. So, I mean, I assume that was a big experience for you after only about a year of competing in strongman. That's huge.
It was an absolute shock. I honestly, my coach wasn't happy about it, but I did the Rogue Denny Stone hold, which is big grip event. I did that on the evening of the first day, and the first event on the second day was the farmer's walk. And I'm not well known for my grip as is, but that on top of that, I dropped it about 12 feet in. It was the only event I kind of failed on. Otherwise, I was top 10 in every event, and realistically should have been in the finals. I just went in not expecting, to even be competitive with the type of guys that show up there.
Yeah, obviously it's always a tough field at the Arnold Amateur. The winner goes on to compete in the Pro Arnold the year after. And for you now, you earned your pro card in Canada in 2020, I believe?
Yes, sir. That was the win at Amateur Nationals.
So that means that you would be competing in the Arnold Pro World Series next time out, if when that resumes in 2022, or are you competing in the amateur level still internationally? How does it work for you?
I'm pretty sure I can do both. So I am qualified to do OSG Worlds, which I believe is technically an amateur show, coming up in November. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. But coming up 2022 season, based on, the CSM performance and some things like that, Canada is a pretty, I'll brag about Canada. We're definitely, I would say, top 5 of all the countries in the world in the strongman. With JF and Maxime out there killing it, it's kind of become more evident. Doing well at our national event, which is de facto the top show. All the biggest guys go there. It's not like some countries where it's kind of separated into a few different federations. I'm hoping that puts my name out there for maybe Giants Live type of thing, or the Arnold Series to sneak in there. I'm not going to be their first phone call or anything, but I would love an opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously Giants Live, with 6,000, 10,000 people in an arena, that's got to be absolutely incredible competing there. Maxime's going to get his first chance in Glasgow, I believe. He's going to be competing over there. We haven't had many Canadians doing the arena shows in the UK, so it would be a good break for you, I assume.
I would absolutely love it, and I would spend lots of time over there. I've been there once before over that side of the world, and it's quite lovely.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Do you think that we could, at some point, fill arenas like that in Canada? Because, we've had Fortissimus, we've had some big shows, we've had some big outdoors shows, but do you think that we could fill a full arena like that in Canada? Would that be something that would work here?
Potentially in Quebec. It's part of the culture out there. Yep. Everyone in Canada knows that it's part of the culture out there. Louis Cyr and all that. But it was still a bit of a surprise. So out here in BC, we're more into, not strongman, into some other sports, mountain biking, that sort of thing. Going to national or CSM this year in Quebec, I was, signing autographs for little kids and stuff. And people were stopping us at the grocery store, just seeing a bunch of big guys saying, oh, I don't speak French, unfortunately, but they were excited. It's part of the culture there. So out there, there's all the possibility in the world that we could.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? You posted on Instagram recently that you are actually learning French, I believe. Is that right?
That is true. I have three young kids, and they're all in French immersion. At some point, I'd like to help them with their homework.
Next time out, I'm going to interview you in French only.
I'm not sure how that would go. Sorry, but I live right by a military base. That's the jets going by there.
So, and I believe you have a job as well, a full-time job, and you train for Strongman as well, which is probably going to make it a bit more difficult for you as you face some of the international athletes who train full-time. Is it part of your plans in the next few years to maybe leave the work aside to focus on Strongman more? What's your take on that?
I would love that to be an opportunity in my life. I just don't foresee it.
Yeah.
I'm a single parent. I got kids to bring up, and there's not, for the level I foresee myself being at in the next couple of years, let's say. It's just tough on money wise. I'm also an absolutely terrible self promoter. I got my first sponsor this year, which was a local Dodge dealership, Comox Valley Dodge. I got my second sponsor now from after CSM, which is Cerberus, which is absolutely lovely. They came on board. But as far as self promotion, it's an absolute weakness for me. So to be supportive on just strongman seems unlikely.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now there's multiple federations out there. There's WUS, who are paying their athletes, taking them to superb international locations. There's more and more opportunities for guys who are going through the ranks. So, I mean, what are your plans for the next few years? Do you have any particular goals that you want to reach on the national and international level in strongman?
I just want to keep outshining my expectations. I've done it every year so far. If I end up in one of those large shows next year, I would love to, outplace what I think I would likely place and have that name start circling, right? Have Sean Hayes on people's mouth.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And like in the next few weeks and next few months, do you have any contests planned to get your name out there even more?
This weekend, I actually run a little local show. It's an unsanctioned show, nice. Just near my hometown, and I use that. So I also run the federation for BC, the Amateur Federation for Strongman. So all the strongman shows here. This one's just an unsanctioned one that I use to kind of rile up the local interest in some newer athletes. After that, I'm doing the Static Monsters October 23rd, which is the 18-inch axle and log press. I've always wanted to do that every single year, and it just kind of conflicted with other contests. That's two great specialties for me, so I think I can do really well at it, even though it doesn't really, it doesn't branch off into any other kind of larger shows other than Static Monsters World Tour kind of itself. But I'm super excited about it. I'm hoping to put up some big numbers here in October.
Right, for sure. And you also mentioned maybe doing official strongman games as well in November.
It's on the, I've told them that I think the deadline is the 20th. I told them I'll be the last guy in if I am in. I'm waiting to make a decision here. It's just a high cost show for me to get down to Florida for 6 days from here. And yeah, it's just tough for me, especially being a single parent. That's on some of my parenting weeks there.
Yeah, so that's what makes it hard as well to make a name for yourself and make money from strongman, because you can't really get yourself to international shows, but you also have to get your name out there. I assume that's always a bit of a dilemma for you.
Yeah, like it is with, I'm sure, most every strongman. I just want to be the complainer right now.
No, of course. I mean, you're still in a good spot. You're still improving a lot. I mean, you still have a lot of doors to open, I'm sure, with international strongman. But yeah, it's just about getting your name out there and then getting to compete against some of those guys, and they'll see what you're made of,
Oh, I'm starting to get real, not narcissistic is probably a bad word, but even the Shaw that just went on, I went in and said, I would have done this many reps on this event, this many, and scored myself out through. So if I'm not there already, I'm placing myself there.
Yeah, because I mean, you have Gabriel Riaume, who you faced at Canada's Strongest Man, and he went to the Shaw Classic, and obviously he did quite well. He acquitted himself well against a really, really tough lineup. And that just shows that the best guys in Canada can hang with pretty much anyone.
Absolutely, any of those top 5, 6, 7 guys from CSM can roll into a show like that, and not necessarily run for the win outside of JF and Maxime, but definitely compete.
Oh, definitely. Hey, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us today, Sean. We wish you all the best. People can find you on Instagram at Sir Shawnington III. Is that right? Is that your nickname?
Yes, sir. Sir Shawnington III with 3 eyes in place of the third there.
Right. Well, is there a backstory behind that nickname?
I just like to sound fancy sometimes. And I also think I'm a funny fellow. People might disagree.
Yeah, a lot of self-deprecation as well, I notice. You like to make fun of yourself a little bit.
Yeah, if you got the material, use it,
Definitely. Well, hey, I hope to see you at some of those shows, official strongman games especially. I'm sure you do pretty well there. If you get the chance to compete over there, we'll keep an eye out for you. Be sure, for the people who are watching this one, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time on Strongman Archives.